Hello, my friends. It is time for another episode of Oh Wrestling Podcast. I am your host, CW, and I have a question for you. What is the best Royal Rumble of all time? We are mere weeks out from Royal Rumble, which is, to me, the premier live event, quote unquote, pay-per-view, whatever you want to call it, that WWE puts on. It is better than Mania. It's better than Survivor Series. It's better than Judgment Day, not the faction, the actual pay-per-view. For the young cats out there, Judgment Day was a pay-per-view before it was a four-person team. Royal Rumble is the best event that WWE has to offer, hands down. The gimmick match of having 30 people run into the ring and get tossed over the top rope is a time-honored tradition, and not only exciting, but it allows WWE to do some really, I wouldn't say innovative, but surprising things with the Rumble. They've had Pete Rose run out there. They've had, returns. They've had NXT call-ups. They've had celebrities. They've had, you name it. They've done it. But my question to you is, what is the best Royal Rumble that has happened so far? Now, I know that there is no clear-cut answer to this, but the real answer is the 2020 Royal Rumble. No, it's not. That's not the real answer. I don't know what the answer is. I'm asking you. I want to hear what you have to think. Put it in the comments. But let's talk about some of the best that have happened thus far. And I threw out the 2020 Royal Rumble because that was the year Edge returned, and I think that was one of the best returns in professional wrestling in a very long time. The pop, the surprise, he was greeted with such warmth. I mean, we didn't think Edge was coming back, and the moment his music hit, which again, his music is one of the best entrance music to date. To me, again, these are all my opinions. Once his music hit and the crowd popped, I popped as well. I was like, oh crap, it's Edge. I thought he was done. And that man came out and he did his thing. He hit the worst spear in wrestling on a couple people, and it was great. It was fantastic. The actual Rumble I enjoyed because there was a story to it. Brock Lesnar went in as the champion at number 1 to tell a story of, it doesn't matter who wins the Rumble. He was going to win the Royal Rumble and basically not show up at WrestleMania. So he was like, I'm going to run through everyone. I'm going in at 1. I'm going to toss every single one of you out. And then come WrestleMania, I'm not even going to wrestle. I'm just going to go home because there's no challenger for me. There's no one better. And he walked in there, and the story he told was magnificent. He tossed out everyone that came in front of him. He had a great little moment with Shelton Benjamin where no one thought he was going to work with him, but it was great to see him like smile and be like, oh crap, it's my old buddy Shelton Benjamin, and then toss his ass out as well. And then, he had the beef with Kofi Kingston after he pinned him in, embarrassing fashion to win the title off of him. The New Day went in there and tried to take him out. Didn't work. Got some help from Rey Mysterio. Didn't work. And then in comes Drew McIntyre. And he was the guy at the time. They were passing the torch to McIntyre. Little did they know that they would be shut down soon and he would be champion in the quietest era of WWE. But he went in there, got a little help from, I believe it was Ricochet. I can't remember exactly. I think Ricochet grabbed Brock's leg from the outside, and then here comes the Claymore kick, knocks Brock out of the ring. Huge pop. Brock stood out there for quite a bit of time, staring at Drew McIntyre. And then the Royal Rumble continued. And it was a great story to lead up. But then Edge came out, popped the crowd again. He didn't make it to the Final Four. I thought he would have, but didn't. And then I believe McIntyre won. Great overall story for the Rumble. The Women's Royal Rumble was equally great. I watched it with my daughter. It was the first wrestling match my daughter watched in full. She watched the entire, I believe, 40-something minute Ladies Royal Rumble. Thoroughly enjoyed it. That was the moment she came up with her wrestling persona, and she asked me the cutest question that she's at. Well, not that she's ever asked, but she's asked in a while. She said, "Daddy, I want to be a wrestler." I said, "Baby, you can do whatever you want." She's like, I want to do all the flips and have a cool entrance and stuff. I was like, hey, if that's what you want to do, I will support you. So she took a beat. She waited a couple minutes, and then as we're watching, she didn't even look up. She was like, "Daddy, if I became a wrestler and they gave me a microphone, would you be there to listen to me?" And my heart melted. I said, "Girl, if you became a professional wrestler and they handed you a microphone to cut a promo, Daddy would be in the front row posing and screaming and freaking out because his daughter was cutting a promo on these whack wrestlers because my daughter is the best." And she started giggling and laughing, and then we both stood up and started doing poses and cutting promos on each other. And she's like, I would say something like, "Hey, if you want this title, I'm gonna knock you down." I was like, that's pretty good. And then we cut promos on each other. It was a wonderful night. So this all happened maybe a couple months ago. We rewatched it on Peacock/WWE Network. And when I tell you, it was a wonderful, wonderful evening. She fell asleep directly after that match. And then I watched the Men's Royal Rumble by myself. Again, fantastic Rumble event, the 2020 Rumble. I don't recall any specific year that anything crazy happened, but I know that a couple years before, like 2019, the 18, and the 17 were not the best Royal Rumbles, but definitely the Attitude Era and Ruthless Aggression, whatever you want to call that era, there was some really, really good Rumbles. I remember there was one where Triple H returned after a major injury, ran into the ring with his denim. He had like 4 jackets on and a vest. He's doing like his Triple H pose. I believe that year was Triple H, Mr. Perfect, Batista. Don't quote me on this. I know Triple H and Mr. Perfect were in that Rumble, and Triple H ran the ring. He came in. He was doing these wild like poses before his moves. He was so excited to be back. But it was a great Rumble, and the fact that Mr. Perfect had come back before he passed away, rest in peace, and was out there suplexing folks again. Look, if you haven't seen Mr. Perfect wrestle, he was called Mr. Perfect for a reason. The man could hit some moves. Everything he did was crisp and clean. He was one of the best intercontinental wrestlers around. Go check out some of the old Mr. Perfect, but also go check out some old Royal Rumbles and let me know which one was the best. I mean, they've been such great entries, such great finishes. What was it? There was the finish with John Cena and Batista where Mr. McMahon ripped his quads to shreds as he tried to jump into the ring. There was the Rumble where Undertaker and Shawn Michaels. Lord, at Dad's First Time will know what which number Rumble this is, and you probably would too. Go check out Dad's First Time, twitch.tv/dadfirsttime, or on YouTube, Dad's First Time. That was our Rumble. We watched that on loop. Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels in the Rumble. You want to talk about drama, stress. We were stressed out that Rumble. We didn't know who we wanted to win. It was a fantastic ending to a Rumble. It was great. I'm trying to remember other fantastic endings to Rumbles. I'm like flipping through my Rolodex in my head. That's how old my Rolodex is. It's a Rolodex, an actual like card file system. Man, does anyone get that Rolodex reference? There was, come on, someone give me another good. I say someone as if there's anyone else in this room with me. Yeah, I can't remember anything else. I'm blanking and my heart's racing. I'm thinking about the Rumble. So I don't know what is in store for this Rumble. I guarantee you it's going to be huge. Triple H is going to want to make a splash. So look out for some celebrity guests, some crazy returns, some nice call-ups from NXT, and potentially some big names coming back for this Rumble. Who do you think? Oh, no, not who do you think? Yeah, who do you think is coming back for this Rumble? What has been your favorite Rumble? Let me know in the comments. Make sure to hit the bell on YouTube to get notified when new videos are up. Subscribe to the podcast on any and all podcast platforms. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast. I appreciate you, and I am your friend.
I'm your friend, but if I ever see you in the ring, I can beat you. Don't you know? Yeah, yeah, yeah.